What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Daniel, and today we're going to talk about top 5 tips on how to properly store your car over the course of winter. Now, I know it's been a while since my last long video format. I have been super busy late September, but now that I am back, I am ready to deliver new content for you guys to enjoy. Now, before we get started, these are just some tips that I myself personally use and some tips that I came across in the car community. If you have any additional tips, please leave them down in the comment section down below and let me know what you do to store your car during the off season. Now, before we get into it, if you guys are celebrating Thanksgiving like I am, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I hope you are all well and safe. Now, without further ado, let's dive straight into all the tips that I am about to share. So let's head back into my office so that we can dive straight into it. Whew. Okay, now that we are back indoors, we are nice and toasty. As you can tell in the previous video, we were outside and it is getting a little chilly here in Toronto. So if you're in Toronto, please bundle up. Now, diving straight into it. Number 1, clean, wash, and wax your car. Now, this is a no-brainer. If you are prepping for the off-season, it is essential that you clean your car so that stains or dirt doesn't live on your paint for X amount of months. A good example would be if bird poop was on your car or any type of debris. This could not only damage the paint, but in worst case scenario, leave a permanent stain mark on your car. And of course, we don't want that. So remember to clean your car thoroughly. Now, if you are in need of some recommendations on how to clean your car, I made a video a while back on how I clean my car and some products I've used. So please go back and enjoy that video. Now, if you have been tracking your car all summer or just daily driving it throughout the summer, it is a good idea to do an oil change so that the engine has clean oil sitting in the block for the next few months. You do not want any dirty, burnt track used oil sitting in the block for long. I am not going to say that it will cause damage, but it's always a good idea to swap out old oil and put in new ones so that your engine stays healthy and happy. Alongside the oil change, check your fluids to make sure that they are at the optimal level, such as coolant levels and also power steering fluid. Not that it's really necessary, but it wouldn't hurt. Tip number 3, staying on the topic of fluids, make sure you fill up your gas tank to the fullest. The reason you do this is because you want to get out as much air out of the fuel tank as much as possible, because air holds moisture and that moisture will cause the fuel to break down and worst case scenario will cause certain components to rust. If you are planning to go the extra mile on this, you can add in some fuel stabilizers. I know a lot of fanatics have been doing this practice when they store their vehicles, and of course that also helps keep the fuel healthy and keep moisture out. Tip number 4, inflate your tires. Yes, oftentimes people look over this one simple requirement. The reason being is that cold air will cause your tire to lose pressure over time and of course will deflate the tire. If you don't have close access to the location of your storage unit, I would suggest you to overinflate it by a couple of psi so that this will give it just a little bit of a buffer space for it not to deflate and develop any flat spots. You don't want your tire to deflate and having the rim sit on a flat tire for long periods of time. If that does happen, then of course it will not only damage your tire, but possibly damage your rim as well. Tip number 5. Now, there's actually a 2-part to this tip. First part, charge your battery. There are a few ways of doing this. You can, of course, pull the battery out and hook up to a battery trickler, or you could directly charge your battery in the car. This is something that I do, and it sits perfectly fine, to be honest. The reason why you want to charge your battery is because you want your battery to stay healthy throughout the off season, and so that it doesn't die throughout the time it's being stored. And the second part to this is to get a car cover. That's my suggestion. I think a lot of people overlook this. It really depends on where you're storing your car. If you're storing it in a nice heated facility with ventilation and other cars, you don't need a car cover per se, unless you are super protective of your vehicle. Of course, car covers, they have a tendency to get dirty as well and pick up any debris. And of course, you have to figure out the sizing of your car cover and that if your car cover will scratch the paint or not. So definitely that's something you should take into consideration when hunting for a car cover. But for me, I am putting my car in a garage for quite some time. I personally am going to put a car cover on it. I just purchased one over Amazon for around, I think, $50 more or less. And in my opinion, it's a good investment if you are planning to store it in a garage setting where the garage gets open and closed from time to time. This really helps keep off debris, any liquid, fluids, rain, or just climate in general. There you have it, guys. These were my top 5 pro tips on how to properly store your car. Let me know in the comment section down below on how you store your car, or if you have any additional tips to add to my list that I don't know. As always, if you haven't already done so, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me in the long run. And if you haven't already done so, please also follow me on Instagram and TikTok so that you can see more additional content that I post daily. But until then, see you next time.